stop.
Hey guys, what's cracking? It is Krakenation here, coming at you with our Week 4 match against the Boston Bowlers, coached by Hiker Toad. Hiker Toad is from the draft community, pretty well known through the draft community, as I've heard, and is definitely a very good player. So I was really excited to go into this game, prepped really hard. Matchup was definitely felt like it was pretty hard against me in a couple situations. Not really across the board, but just the way a couple of Mons matched up against me just really struggled. Things like Muckalola and Rotom Wash, right at matchup at face value, were just going to be really hard to deal with. And I knew that, so I needed to be careful about those things. You know, I usually try to stick keep the result of the match at the end of the match, just because I can kind of keep you guys, make this interesting. I don't do these live games anymore. I might pick that back up. The problem is that the games sometimes take too long, so I definitely want to. I play a little slower than your average Pokemon player, so these post-coms allowed me to kind of reflect. So, but this time, like I was kind of getting at, I will be spoiling the result of the match right here and now. Apologies if you guys don't like that, but I think this will be kind of a learning experience game. We'll kind of go through and just watch play after play what I could have done better, because this wasn't just your run-of-the-mill, close game, but I lost. This was a absolute slaughter of a 6-0. I will say that it was a 6-0, and I got beat real bad, but there definitely felt like there were some plays I could have made that would have, and some things that could have gone differently that could have kept me in this game. And so in the future, I think this 6-0 doesn't leave me feeling hopeless. It just left me feeling very sad because it was definitely I don't want to say embarrassing, but you know, I take a lot of pride, and I like to think that I'm a pretty good Pokemon player, pretty good Draft League format player. So definitely took me a couple, like a little. This upload is coming out a little ways after the battle, a little late, just because it took me some time to, you know, nurse those pride wounds. But definitely wanted to make sure I do it, and I think these experiences can be really good for just, you know, watching, going over what we're doing, learning from it, seeing what I could have done better. So we're going to hop right into it. I realize we're also on the wrong side right now, but we're going to play with music off and switch sides. So I led with Wishy-Washy because I felt like it had a pretty decent matchup against everything except Alomola. He led Gardevoir. I just clicked U-turn. Big, like, I know I'm an Assault Vest Wishy-Washy, and U-turn's going to do a really good chunk of this thing. I can switch out to a check. So that slow pivot in Wishy-Washy is really nice, and I was able to just U-turn. And so that was actually, I think, probably the correct play there, just clicking that U-turn. Went into Swell, which I knew could just do some damage, but I was expecting Steelix to just be an easy Pokemon that wanted to come in. So I just U-turned. Again, I'm pretty proud of that. I think I was playing fine early here. Went back into Wishy-Washy, and so I click the Scald here, and I think this was a kind of a mistake when I should have known. I don't know why it phased me there, where like I knew he would switch out of Gardevoir, so I just clicked U-turn. I knew he would just switch into Steelix, so I just clicked U-turn again. So I just kept clicking these U-turns, and then for some reason I just stopped thinking about it here. So I think something to be careful of, and something that I should think of more often in general is like, what does my opponent think my set is? Because based on that, I definitely think I can punish some more plays more often. So I do get the Scald Burn, which, if you guys don't realize, Alomola actually is one of those Pokemon that likes to be burnt, unless it's physical. Obviously, maybe it won't appreciate it as much if it's like a physically offensive, like running Liquidation or Knockoff as its attacks, because Alomola is one of those Pokemon that really only ever gets beat by Toxic and really powerful Wall Breakers. Luckily, I do have Hoopa and a Vileplume, so two Pokemon that definitely could beat this thing. But my Vileplume set was Sunny Day, Solar Beam, so it doesn't actually have a move. Like, if I was running just Giga Drain, I could have switched into this and probably just beat it more reliably every single time. But I didn't have that. Not to mention that this thing has Wish, and every time I switch into a defensive Vileplume like that, he would just be able to Wish out, and that ends up being the course of this match. Just because I can't kill his Alomola comfortably throughout the match, it just ends up being able to Wish over and over and over again. So definitely should have clicked U-turn there. I don't know why it phased me, like didn't register with me to click Scald. I probably could have U-turned into like Hoop Unbound or something, or and just started pressuring this Alomola. I don't know why I thought Scald was like, oh, it's a no drawback play. Maybe I didn't register how bad it would be to Scald Alomola and have it burned. So that's definitely going to be something to think about in the future, because that really put a damper on my game. So we did end up having to, burning that, and I do have Toxic on my Skarmory, which ends up being the real dagger, because Toxic on Skarmory was a really and Skarmory versus ALOLOLMOLA ended up being a recurrent matchup in this game where I could have easily gotten off Toxics had I not burned it here. So definitely feel like U-turn. I don't know why I was able to effectively pivot for the first 2 turns and then seemingly seemed to forget. I'm guessing my mentality was really like just that, oh, Scald is no drawback, so I might as well Scald, because I didn't register that, like, if I Scald, because to be fair, if I hadn't burned here, Scald wasn't really a drawback, right? Like, Scald just was, like, it was a net 0 play, because he's just going to switch ALOLOLMOLA in. But because I burned, that ended up being a heavy drawback play. So I do actually end up realizing that and hard switching out on what, I guess I could have U-turned, doesn't really matter. I go into Swellow, though. As he goes into Aerodactyl, I click the Facade, I clicked the U-turn, but again, he just wished up. It didn't matter what I clicked. I go into this, and I'm basically just going to try to get up my rocks here, but he does actually burn, which is pretty unfortunate. You know, I had Iron Head for Gardevoir and this, as well as Alolan Muck on this Skarmory, so Iron Head obviously not doing any damage anymore. He does actually end up switching out here as I try to roost back up. And he does actually, I'm pretty sure, just end up clearing. Yeah, he just clears the hazards off the field. I was expecting the Volt Switch or the T-Volt, so I just roosted back up again. But unfortunately, he does a Volt Switch, doesn't do a ton of damage. He reveals to me that he's a physically defensive variant. Get up my rocks again. At this point, I'm like, whatever, Skarm. So I have to switch out, and I go into Diancie, which I know can take any hit from this thing. I go into this, and I know that this Steelix, I click Moonblast because I'm figuring it's going to do more damage to Steelix than Diamond Storm. I'm pretty sure there's a Shuka Steelix, so I have to switch back out. So I go into Skarmory to take that Earthquake. Click Roost, which was probably a very risky play considering I just saw Earthquake, but he gets up his own rocks, and he just goes into ALOLOLMOLA, which again, I probably could have played a little bit better around that. I wasn't sure if it had Fire Blast or something, but I feel like this ALOLOLMOLA is actually just unbeatable at this point, which is what you're quickly going to see. I go into Hoop Unbound. Hoop Unbound I was hoping could break through Muck, but I end up being Pursuit Trapped, which something I didn't really think about, to be honest, in prep. So maybe be a little more careful with the Pursuit Trap. So it was definitely something that just didn't really occur to me in my prep for the game. And basically the game just kind of spirals out of control because ALOLOLMOLA just ends up absolutely putting work on me for the whole game. You know, I click Roost, and again, as you can see, this thing, ALOLOLMOLA just keeps, as I said, Skarmory versus ALOLOLMOLA ends up being a matchup that keeps occurring. Now he just goes back into Muck. Actually, no, he took that Energy Ball and killed me, right, I forgot about that. Yeah, he takes that Energy Ball, kills me, because I think he's a max BDF, max HP. I go into Swellow, like, again, I'm in a really rough spot here. Just going to start firing off Facades. I'm expecting him to go into, like, something here, but I don't really have a play, so I'm just going to keep pounding it. Again, he's probably going to go into, like, I said Aerodactyl or Steelix here. He stays in. Yeah, like I said, the Skarmory versus ALOLOLMOLA matchup is just recurrent. I think I definitely could have played better with Hoop Unbound around that Muck earlier, where Hoop Unbound just got Pursuit Trap. Didn't really think about the Pursuit Trap carefully enough. I go into Wishy Washy here. Steelix just gets healed up to full. He goes back into Aloe. I see this time I registered. I don't know why that didn't register with me the first time. I go into this. I click the Diamond Storm, hoping to get a defense boost on the Liquidation. But he doesn't. I wish I had gotten that really bad. You know, I just click it again. I actually probably should have Diamond Stormed there, or Moonblast or something. I get the Spadef drop, a special attack drop, but it doesn't matter because I'm not that bulky when I'm Nega'd. At this point, I'm desperate. He does get the Will-O-Wisp, which I guess is kind of, it doesn't matter really that much. I probably should have clicked the Hidden Power Ground here, but I clicked Solar Beam because Hidden Power Ground actually does like 6 or 7% more to this AV Muck. AV Muck is just eating my soul. So Skarmory actually ends up having to eat a, Vileplume ends up having to eat this Fire Blast. It does not, clearly, which is really cool tech by him. Yeah, yeah, it really comes down to that ALOLOLMOLA burn, but I do think there was a play to be made there. The play to be made there was U-turn, so I should not have scalded there. Again, I don't know what mental lapse led me there, but I guess something I need to kind of take as a theme from both my Week 1 game that I lost and my Week 4 game now that I lost is that you got to be more cognizant of what your opponent's play is at any given moment. This seems like this is something that's been slipping from me more and more as I've played through Draft League, where like I used to be a lot better at what my opponent was kind of trying to do, and that seems like in a couple games, like I not just cognizant of what your opponent's next move is, but what your opponent's next like thought is. In the sense, like if we look at Week 1, I should have recognized that he probably thought I was Scarf Landorus because the way he was playing around it, and I could have definitely punished with the clicking the Z flying on the Metagross. Or looking at this game, you know, with the ALOLOLMOLA switching in, I should just been cognizant. Okay, he just thinks I'm gonna like click Skull here. He thinks ALOLOLMOLA's a no. For him, ALOLOLMOLA's a no problem play. So if I had gone into ALOLOLMOLA and I had gone into Hoopa earlier, maybe just try to pressure that Muck a little earlier with Hoopa. As you can see, that Vileplume could have gone off if it wasn't for that Muck. So perhaps some better plays there. Obviously, the problem became quickly once ALOLOLMOLA couldn't die, that it just kept wish passing over and over again. And Steelix, before I knew it, Steelix was healthy, Muck was still healthy, you know, like there's just nothing to be done about that. So that burn obviously really sucks, but he definitely outplayed me here, and I think there was some depth, but I still think there were definitely some, as bummed as I am about the results of this game, I don't think it was a no-hope game. I think it was definitely it was a bad matchup, but it wasn't unwinnable, and it was a bad game for me, but it wasn't badly played, and despite the fact that it was a 6-0, at least on my end, it felt like I was still very much in it until like I wasn't very much in it, but I could have very much been in it with a couple of tweaks to my plays, so it doesn't feel totally hopeless. Regardless, definitely feels tough to have to rewatch this game. I honestly didn't have the heart to look at it again since I lost, because this is, I think, only the second time in my whole Pokemon career that I've been 6-0'd, and the first time since Finny in like since the Killigan sweep of like 16, I think. Like this is the first time or 17 or whatever. I think it was no, the Killigan sweep of 15. I think the last time I got swept by in a 6-0 victory was by a Lilligan. So I don't know. Definitely hurts a little bit, but you got to try to take these losses as they come. And, you know, it's a chance to try to learn. Every loss, even every victory, is a chance to go back and try to learn. And that's kind of what these post-comps help with. So, anyways, if you guys enjoyed this video, leave a comment, rate, subscribe. All of that good stuff is always very appreciated. Hopefully we'll be able to turn the season around. And until then, I will catch you guys later. Krakenation out.